Good afternoon, good afternoon. Hope you can hear me over the fan run. I'm outside in the plant room just watering some things. Letting them soak. This is 5 big plants right here and a couple little mounts sticking on the sides. 5 plants can sit in here for 30 minutes and then another 5 can go in here. And it doesn't take that long for me to get everything watered. Gives me a good opportunity to come out, look them over, check all the plants, see who needs who needs what. A little bit lighter growth on this older growth right here, a little bit lighter. I think that's nitrogen, and it's getting more nitrogen. It doesn't, a little bit of mottling, but big strong growths, no twisting, no purpling, nothing like that. So I'm not thinking magnesium. This looks like your basic, I need some nitrogen. It's grown 2 real nice canes this year, so that's probably a part of it. Or 2 canes in the last couple of months, I should say. Same with this one. This one doesn't seem to be deficient. Looks pretty good. Looks really good. I'm just looking everybody over. The river rock, and all these are in river rock, except for the mounts, obviously. But the river rock it doesn't actually absorb any water. The pots will absorb a lot of water. The clay pots will absorb a lot of moisture and hold it in for a day or so before the clay actually dries out. That whole time, for a day or 2 or 3 days, there's a moist environment inside these pots amongst the stone. And that whole time, these plants are pulling moisture off for 2 or 3 days. In a plastic pot, and depending on your environment, it may not be the best thing. A plastic pot's not going to retain as much water. The rock itself will stay wet in a plastic container for probably 24 hours, but that's probably about it. The clay itself delays it and helps maintain a lot of moisture around it. That's important to realize in your environment. I didn't explain that enough when I first started doing this and first started showing people. But again, I'm new to orchids and I'm new to growing in river rock because I've never grown an orchid in river rock. But I never knew it'd be that much of a difference. But I'm finding out through talking with other viewers that they're having some issues because they're in different containers. The river rock works. The inert media doesn't make a difference what you're using. Again, it's just something to hold it. So it's not the rock that does anything. But the clay versus plastic, there's a big difference between clay versus plastic. Obviously, the absorption rate, the wicking ability of clay, etc., etc. And the plastic will also keep moisture in too. If it's a smaller rock, smaller gravel, I think it might hold a lot more moisture and might be okay. Large river rock or something, maybe not. You might have to add some smaller gravel to it, or maybe even some moss in between the rock to help maintain some moisture in a plastic pot. But you have to experiment and try, see what you can come up with. I need to make sure I explain things a little bit better when I do explain things to people, because I don't want somebody to hurt a plant or lose a plant for any reason whatsoever. Little ones like this, I mean, like I told you before, I'm not watering the big ones, but once a week out here. But the little ones, anytime I'm out here, I think about it. I'll toss little ones in amongst it, just because there's an opening. They can suck some water up, and they always do better when getting a little bit extra water. It won't hurt them at all. And I'm trying to get growth on them too. Remember, it's the wet, dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. Every time they do a wet, dry cycle, I think they grow a little bit. Some nice roots coming out. It's a little bit light color for me, a little bit light color. But it's got a nice strong growth. 2 strong growth it's given me already. So this was one of those little cattleya babies that I got hanging all over the place. You can see this one's gotten pretty good size. I've watered some of these. Some of these got watered earlier. Some of the smaller ones. I'm going through. Oops, sorry about that. I'm going through slowly. Big Banphilodera soaked for about an hour. It's happy. These all soaked today. Have a nice heavy drink. Amongst a bunch of others. Trying not to move everybody too quick. My apologies. Anyway, I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I'm just out here playing around. This water's got about 130 parts per million, around 6.2. Nothing major. just some light feed. They're going to soak out here for about an hour. And that's another thing you can do. I don't have, since I'm going to soak them anyway, even if I wasn't going to feed them, if I was just soaking them, they would still soak for about a half hour to an hour. If I used 350 parts per million or 400 parts per million on my feed, soaking for an hour may not hydrate them or may burn the plant or give them too much. So by feeding a lower amount, I can let them sit here and soak. I don't have to worry about them getting too much. I can always soak them again later. It dries out pretty quick. Doesn't hurt. So I can always give them more. I can always throw a fuller feed at them later on if I want to. So I'm not worried about it. Feed low doses all the time. All right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for those great comments. Thanks for the questions.